The phone vibrated 71 times before it went silent. I didn't answer. I was standing on the balcony of my villa in Switzerland, watching fog erase the lake in slow, deliberate strokes, the kind of erasure that looks merciful from a distance and brutal up close. Down below, glass shattered. Someone had dropped a plate. Inside, my wife was pacing. I could hear her heels striking marble like a countdown. She thought the calls would soften me. She always believed noise could bend truth. Earlier that evening, a message had arrived from an unknown number. "I did it for us," she wrote. "Please talk to me." I stared at the words until they stopped looking like language and started looking like strategy. A week earlier at Nobu, she had frozen mid-step when she saw me, across the room, laughing quietly, with the vice president's wife. The wine came first. Then the scream, then the lie. I remember thinking how red wine looks almost black under restaurant lights. Blood without consequence. I had smiled when it happened. Not because I enjoyed it, because I had already won. Take the job. Don't be stupid. That was her voice. Sharp, certain, final. The promotion was generous. Too generous. A leap that made no sense unless loyalty was being purchased, not rewarded. The VP had smiled when he offered it. A man who never blinked. I declined. She didn't ask why. She just watched me the way gamblers watch dice. That night, she slept with her phone face down. I quit the job the next morning. Immediately. No notice, no explanation. By evening, I was having dinner with the VP's wife. Her idea. She was angry, vengeful, precise in her rage. A woman who had discovered betrayal and decided to sharpen it instead of bleed from it. She told me everything without saying anything outright. A look, a pause, a hand tightening around a glass. I listened. My wife had always been ambitious, always needed more than what was given. She called it vision. I called it hunger. At Nobu, when my wife walked in and saw us, the truth finally cracked the air. Not because I was with another woman, but because the wrong woman was angry. The VP's wife stood, lifted her glass, and poured it slowly over my wife's head. "For honesty," she said. My wife's scream echoed. I stayed seated. Still. I didn't confront her. That would have been crude. Instead, I watched. I noticed how she flinched when my phone rang, how she memorized my schedule too carefully, how she started saying "we" again, like a spell. At night, I ran numbers in my head. Money trails, calendar gaps, silences that didn't belong. I pulled phone records, not because I suspected, because I already knew. There it was. The VP. Private lines. Late hours. I smiled when I found the hotel receipt hidden inside an old book on compromise. I ordered a background check, quiet, clinical. I told her I understood. I began transferring assets, slowly, legally, irreversibly. My wife noticed none of it. She was too busy rehearsing remorse. "I did it for us," she said one night, touching my arm like it still belonged to her. I nodded. Inside, something cold finished forming. The VP's wife called me again, told me she had filed for divorce, told me she was tired of being polite. When my daughter-in-law called, her voice dripping with inherited arrogance, I answered calmly. "If you want to join Thanksgiving," she laughed, "come wash the dishes." I replied, "Enjoy." Then I sent the photos, the villa, the view, the silence. My phone rang all night. I slept. I handed my wife the folder at breakfast. No drama. Just paper. She opened it. Read. Collapsed. The VP's emails, the financial records, the clause she hadn't noticed. Her name wasn't on anything that mattered. She cried, loudly, desperately. "I did it for us," she said again. I watched her the way surgeons watch anesthesia take hold. "I know," I replied. That broke her. Not the evidence. Not the exposure. The fact that I wasn't surprised. The VP called later, apologetic, angry, afraid. I let it ring. The truth doesn't need witnesses. The board meeting was brief. The VP resigned. His wife attended. She nodded at me once. That was enough. I signed the final documents alone. When my wife realized the accounts were empty, she screamed. When she realized the house wasn't hers, she begged. When she realized I had quit before any of it surfaced, she understood. Too late. I didn't raise my voice, didn't insult her, didn't explain. I simply walked away. Cold revenge isn't loud. It's accurate. The lake disappeared completely that morning. Fog 1. My phone stopped ringing. I poured a drink and watched the world simplify itself. No lies, no noise, no us, only distance and peace. Somewhere far away, she was still explaining herself. I wasn't listening. I had already left.